Hi guys, this is Hirosaki. This story is all about what if Naruto was part of the Avengers. Naruto left the elemental nations and wound up in a world where flying metal man, magic, and gods exist. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to this channel, and look over the description box for the author of this amazing storyline. Welcome aboard. Chapter 36, Too Much to Handle. Natasha's Safe House, New York. June 23, 2007, 0200H local. Babe. Natasha forced out, entirely out of breath, while laying on top of Naruto. We can't keep doing this. What? Sex? Naruto asked. Yeah. Natasha replied. Why? I can't keep up, babe. Natasha answered truthfully. Where the hell do you get all that stamina anyway? It's been almost 4 months since Naruto and Natasha got together. The 4 months they have been together being one of the best memories she had. For the first time, she can finally see herself with someone. Their whole relationship might unorthodox, but it works for them. Fury can't even reprimand her for cavorting with the enemy spiel since Naruto is more of an ally than a foe. She knows he still has a lot of secrets, but she's confident he would slowly open up more to her and hurt him. The only thing she can complain about is also a blessing. They have a stupid amount of great sex. The pair would make love at least once a week, and it's rarely just a quickie. Usually, it's a marathon lasting anywhere from 3 to 9 hours, leaving her sore, tired, and satisfied every time. All of these marathon sessions are, without a doubt, Naruto's fault. The guy must have infinite stamina reserves since she never saw him tired, even after their marathon sessions. The Uzumakis have larger chakra reserves than other clans, as well as vitality and stamina. Basically, an average Uzumaki shinobi has 5 to 10 times the chakra and endurance of any average shinobi. Add to the fact that I'm a Jinchuriki, well, you get the picture. Naruto explained. So, you're telling me that everyone from your mother's side was a freak in bed? Natasha asked with a teasing grin. Please don't say that. My mind just imagined stuff about my mother, and I don't want to think about it. It certainly doesn't help that Kurama knows about it. Naruto pleaded with a groan. It was 2 weeks ago when Naruto opened up about Kurama to Natasha. He admitted that they were able to mend fences and form a begrudging alliance that eventually turned into the dysfunctional friendship they had today. He even told her about his mother being a Jinchuriki and the ability to summon Kurama outside his body. But there's something he needs to do first before he can safely summon a being of pure chakra to this world. But seriously, how did your family deal with that? Natasha asked, referring to the whole endurance problem. Well, the Uzumakis usually couple with another Uzumaki, so they don't have a problem with that regard. But in the cases where an Uzumaki is coupled with a non-Uzumaki, there are only 2 options. Naruto started explaining while recalling about the books he had gotten from the library. Either the outsider is married through a special ritual that would lessen the gap of vitality between the two by siphoning it from the Uzumaki and sending it towards the mate, or... He stopped, hoping Natasha won't make him continue. Or... Just say it. Natasha urged. The Uzumaki would have multiple wives or husbands. Naruto blurted out. Like a harem? Not like a harem. Exactly like a harem. Is that normal in your world? Having a polygamous relationship? Naruto asked for clarification, which Natasha nodded to. Pretty much. You have to remember that being a shinobi has a life expectancy of 25 to 30 years old, and like 70% of them are males, causing the balance to shift between genders. That's why there's a lot of open polygamous relationships in the low to mid-level ranks, while the high-ranking ones have open secret relationships. He explained. Add to that the CRA laws. He finished as an afterthought. CRA? Clan Restoration Act. When a clan is down to its last 10 surviving members due to any circumstance, he or she is required to take on multiple partners to increase their numbers rapidly, and with as much genetic diversity as possible. The more valuable a clan is, the higher the partners. It can be anywhere from 3 to 20. You're basically made into a baby machine. Naruto answered with a shake of his head. The CRA laws are just too forced for him. It's one thing to have a polygamous relationship out of love, but having one because it's forced on you is just wrong. He can't even imagine being a woman in that scenario. That's probably one of the reasons Tsunade-bachan left. Wait. Aren't you the last Uzumaki? Doesn't that mean you would have been forced to marry at least 3 people? Natasha asked. Yeah. Good thing I dodged that bullet. Naruto said with a sigh of relief. With how many high-position clans ended, will end, or started with me, the Kage would probably force me to at least 50 partners. He's referring to the absurdly abnormal lineage he has. The obvious ones are the Uzumaki and the Namikaze clans, both of which are highly sought after. The first one for their vitality, Fuinjutsu acumen, adamantine chains, and absurd chakra reserves. The second one is for their innate speed, fighting instincts, and intelligence rivaling the Nara clan. Then there are the Senju and Uchiha clans. The eternal rivals. The former is the cousins of the Uzumakis. Famed for their vitality and the possibility of acquiring the Mokuton bloodline, the only bloodline that can reliably subdue a Bijou. The Uchiha came from his father's side since the Namikazes was a clan formed before the foundation of Konoha. They were the rejects of the Uchiha, unable to unlock their Sharingan. The Uchihas are famed for their fighting acumen and the Sharingan, making them more than a challenge for many shinobi. The last ones were the latent bloodlines that activated due to Kagaya's blood integrating with his own. These are the Hyuga, the Kagaya, and the Otsutsuki clans. The Hyugas are famed for their fighting prowess, gentle fist fighting style, and the Byakugan, or the all-seeing white eye, although they are not a member of the CRA. The Kagaya was a feared battle-oriented clan having incredible vitality and the capability to use their bones as weapons. Even though Kurama confirmed that he could use the Kagaya bloodline, he just doesn't use it. All the bone stuff just creeps him out. Finally, the Otsutsuki. Considered as gods of the shinobis because of Kagaya, Hagoromo, and Himura. Speculated to have immortality and the evolved form of the Byakugan, Tenseigan. They have many more attributes, but there are just too many to mention. Add to the fact that he basically has all the bloodlines running through his veins, and it's guaranteed that each hidden village would go to war because of him. Huh. Natasha let out in contemplation while adopting a thoughtful expression. Naruto immediately felt a chill running through him. It's like the feeling he had before his Sharingan unlocked. He knows he doesn't want it, but after he got it, he loves it. Babe. Naruto hesitantly called. What are you thinking about? Natasha was shaken out of her stupor and looked at Naruto. I just thought of something I never thought I'd be turned on to. Natasha unashamedly announced with fire behind her eyes. Naruto quickly became hot and forgot about his premonition. He still can't over Natasha's intense sexuality. Maybe I can help you with that. Naruto purred out while running his hands on Natasha's ass. Maybe you can. Natasha seductively whispered before getting off Naruto and lying down on her side of the bed. Well. Good night, babe. Be careful tomorrow. She said before nodding off. Naruto was left there all hot and bothered, gobsmacked by Natasha's power move. Now, he's just sitting on the bed with a boner like an idiot. Fuck. Natasha's Safe House, New York. June 23, 2007, 1300 H local. Natasha was walking back towards the building where her safe house was at after buying some groceries. She dressed in a comfortable white blouse, blue jeans, and black sneakers with a hidden pistol tucked in on her back. When she woke up that morning, Naruto was already gone, but not before leaving her a note and some food on the table. He probably already went to his nine-tail gig. He has a flexible working date making him able to be together with her anytime he likes, but sometimes there are some jobs he just can't resist, which she completely understands. When Natasha got on the elevator, a younger woman quickly got on without registering her surroundings before the doors completely close. She's a 5 feet 9 inches Caucasian with pale skin, green eyes, and wavy black hair, while wearing gray jeans, a black shirt covered by a black leather jacket, and black boots. Her name is Jessica Jones. An enhanced shield has been monitoring her ever since she was 14 after being revived when their family car crashed on April 13, 2000. According to her file, she's an introvert ever since she was a child, but with her family's accident and the death of her former boyfriend 2 years ago caused her to develop survivor's guilt and post-traumatic stress disorder. Her trauma caused her to be partially unstable, often dreaming about the day of the accident. She developed a dependence on alcohol to forget, but it barely does anything to her due to her enhancement. When the accident happened, an unknown organization got her hands on her and performed an illegal experiment on her only known as IGH, a possible reproduction of the super soldier serum. IG gave her superhuman strength, speed, endurance, and regeneration. The last part causes her to recover from the effects of alcohol quickly. As for her personal life, she barely has any ever since the death of her former boyfriend. She even distanced herself from the Walkers, her adoptive family, and even Trish Walker, her sister and best friend. The reason Natasha's warehouse was in the same building as Jessica was that when Jessica started to do some hero stuff, Fury wanted someone better to keep a close eye on her from time to time. The talk she and Naruto had this morning caused her to form a plan in her mind. If everything goes as planned, Naruto would be happy, Jessica would be happy, and weirdly enough, she would be happy too. "Hey, Jess." Natasha greeted. "Oh." Jessica said in surprise. She looks towards the only other person in the elevator. "Hey, Sasha." She greeted back. Natasha used the name Sasha Roth when she's using this warehouse. Sasha and Jessica had formed some form of friendship where they would occasionally hang out. "Want to come by the apartment?" Natasha asked. Jessica thought about it for a moment. She just came from quitting another job and could really use a drink right now, but maybe she could do it with her neighbor. There's just one thing she needs to ask first. "Is your boyfriend in there?" Jessica asked. "No." Natasha thought it was a weird question to ask but answered it anyway. "Why?" She just had to ask. "I just don't want to meet the guy who's keeping the whole building half awake when he's with you. I might just punch him." Jessica bluntly replied. "Kudos, by the way," she added. Natasha slightly turned red, hearing Jessica's answer. She already knows Jess is a blunt person, but sometimes she surprises even her. She promptly noted down in her mind that she needs to activate blackout protocol before doing anything else. "Are we that loud?" Natasha asked hesitantly. "Yep, and the building somehow shakes from time to time. I don't know if it's just in my head or not." Jessica answered. "I can swing by the way." Natasha nodded and smiled, but on the inside, she's a little more mortified. She added another note. "Tame down Naruto's enthusiasm or get a bed with shock absorbers, maybe both." The elevator doors opened, and they walked towards Natasha's apartment/safe house. "You can't hurt him with just a punch," Natasha said out of the blue. "What?" Jessica asked, confused. "My boyfriend." Natasha felt like a teenager describing Naruto like that. "A punch doesn't hurt him," she repeated. "Doubt it. I'm a lot stronger than how I look," Jessica retorted with confidence, secretly referring to her super strength, not knowing that Natasha knows about it. "If you say so," Natasha replied. Natasha opened up the door and walked towards the kitchen to drop the groceries and grabbing 4 bottles of wine, a bottle of vodka, and 2 wine glasses, already anticipating heavy drinking. When she got back to the living room, she saw Jessica lounging on the sofa. She dropped off the items and discreetly activated the blackout protocol as preparation for the conversation she's going to have. Natasha wouldn't normally do something as stupid as she was about to do, but she reasoned that there's a lot of things she usually wouldn't do, but Naruto's presence stirred up a lot of things. She walked back to the couch and poured herself a glass of wine. Jessica's glass is full to the brim with what Natasha assumes as a mixture of wine and vodka. "How have you been doing lately?" Natasha asked, starting the conversation. "Just quit my job, so there's that," Jessica answered with a sigh. The pair talked for at least an hour, quickly going through the alcohol. They talk about a lot of stuff, but nothing personal like they usually do. Natasha determined that now is the perfect time to reveal some things to make her proposal easier to accept. "Hey, Jess," Natasha quietly said. Jessica looks at her, waiting for her to continue. "I haven't been completely honest with you." Jessica immediately went on guard, her inherent distrust of anyone being affirmed. "I'm going to tell you some stuff that will alarm you, and I want you to listen through all of it before asking questions. At the end of this talk, I'll ask a proposition that will definitely sound weird." Jessica moved to the far side of the couch, putting some distance between her and Natasha, but showing that she's willing to listen. Natasha took a deep, calming breath, thinking about all the protocols and rules she's breaking by going through with this, not to mention the possible consequence that might occur. First of all, my name is not Sasha. That's an alias I use when I stay here," Natasha said. "So, what's your name?" Jessica asked, not thinking that having an alias is a big lie. "My name is Natasha Romanoff. I'm a spy and assassin working for an international US-based intelligence agency." Natasha blurted out quickly, ripping the band-aid off, but Jessica just started laughing. "That's a good one. Damn, haven't had a good life for quite a while," Jessica said, but when she noticed the now-named Natasha still looking serious. "Holy shit. You're not joking, are you? The organization I work for deals with problems that the world is not ready to face. Highly advanced technology or supernatural stuff is all in our ballpark." Natasha continued with a loaded stare. Jessica realized what Natasha was saying. A whole government organization knows about her and apparently sent an agent to check on her. The reason why Sasha only stays in the apartment at least once a month finally made sense. "When you started doing vigilante work, my boss decided it's better if someone more experienced keep an eye on you." "So what, this is all a job?" Jessica asked, hiding a small stab of pain. No. If anything, I shouldn't even be engaging socially with you, but I enjoy your company," Natasha defended. Jessica stayed silent while pacing back and forth in front of the couch, thinking about what Natasha said. She feels violated, but she knows she should have expected it. Nothing stays secret for long. "You're going to try to recruit me to this spy agency of yours?" Jessica asked with snark. "No," Natasha answered quickly. "It's something weirder." She proceeded. "Just spit it out. I want you to join a threesome with my boyfriend." Natasha confessed. "What? That doesn't connect with anything you said," Jessica exclaimed. "Not really. My boyfriend is an enhanced like you." "Enhanced? That's what we call people with superhuman abilities. What does it have to do with me?" "He has similar abilities to you, only more powerful," Natasha said. "You can see where I'm going with this." Jessica wanted to shove Natasha's question back to her, but she wants to meet someone like her. The prospect of someone finally keeping up with her in bed is making her a little horny. The fact that Natasha is smoking hot too only helps her case. The only downside she can see was that Natasha lied to her and part of an organization that monitors people like her. She was about to give an answer when the door suddenly opened. "Hey, babe," Naruto joyously greeted. He saw Natasha talking with her neighbor. This caused a shiver to run down his spine, which is eerily similar to what happened early in the morning. "Naruto. Meet my neighbor, Jessica Jones." Jessica, my boyfriend, Naruto Uzumaki. Natasha introduced them with a smile. If that's what he looks like, we can try a menage a trois as a trial basis, Jessica said to Natasha seriously. Naruto was going to extend his hand for a greeting when he heard Jessica's statement. He finally pieced together Nat's weird behavior and somehow found a willing participant in a short amount of time. He panicked and immediately Hiroshined away. Jessica was surprised by Naruto's sudden disappearance. He just vanished, Jessica weakly said. You'll get used to it, Natasha replies with a shrug. So, let's talk logistics, she continued. Stark Mansion, Los Angeles, California. June 23, 2007, 2000 local. Tony, Pepper, and Morgan are having family time inside the living room. They reserve Saturday night as bonding time with Morgan. No work, no projects, no phones. Jarvis is continuously monitoring the calls and messages for anything that might require an immediate response. The family was playing with the toys Naruto kept on giving Morgan, which now filled a whole walk-in closet when they heard someone running down the stairs. They would have usually be alarmed, but living with Naruto desensitized them on weird occurrences in their house. Tony! 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 Naruto shouted when he reached the living room. Oh. Hey, Morgan. He greeted quickly. I need help, he continued saying towards Tony. Tony quickly stood up. He never saw Naruto panicking before, so he's on alert. What? Tony asked. What do you do when your girlfriend asked you to a threesome with another girl? Naruto rapidly blurted out. Tony took a second to process what Naruto said before punching him hard to the face. What are you still doing here? Just go and say yes, Tony shouted. Tony's punch and answer were enough to rally Naruto. Naruto nodded and ran out the front door. When Tony looked back behind him, he saw Pepper giving him a disapproving glare. You're sleeping on the couch tonight, was Pepper's only declaration. Chapter 37, I Love You? Natasha's Safe House, New York. September 9, 2007, 0900 local. Naruto and Natasha are currently making breakfast in the kitchen while Jessica was still sleeping on the bed. Ever since Jessica decided to join their weird partnership, Natasha was able to wake up a lot earlier after a night of sex. When Naruto came back an hour after his abrupt disappearance, Natasha had to talk him into accepting the new arrangement, which in Natasha and Jessica's opinion, really weird. What guy doesn't run head straight into a threesome when it's their girlfriend who suggested it? It took Natasha almost 2 hours to convince Naruto even to consider the arrangement, and after that, he would only decide after knowing more about Jessica, which means they had to go to a date. Jessica almost backed out of the arrangement since, as she put it, I didn't sign up for all of this emotional shit, but as always, Natasha had talked her into saying yes. Now, a lot of other women would probably throw a fit when their boyfriend insisted on going on a date with another woman. Still, everyone else doesn't have an admittedly overpowered superhuman boyfriend that can be classified as an alien that works as the world's most feared information broker and mercenary. One of the things she figured out about Naruto is that he's an emotional individual and hiding it in a mask of cheeriness. Natasha surmised that he must have an extremely rough childhood, a lot more than he was letting on. Another quality of his is loyalty. It's hard to gain his true loyalty, but when you got it, you have it forever. She could tell that he would follow her through hell, the same as she will do for him, although no one said it to each other. Those two qualities are why Natasha already expected the date from a mile away. Naruto wouldn't just have sex with anyone. He would form some sort of emotional attachment first before doing something intimate, as he considers lovemaking a personal experience. Natasha thought for a moment that choosing Jessica, an emotionally distant individual, as a potential partner would be stupid, but they have a lot more in common. And if Jessica remained emotionally distant after that, Naruto's magnetic personality would win her. If Jessica manages to worm their way into their hearts in the future, well, that's just a problem for the future. Naruto and Jessica decided it was best for their date to happen the next day. When Jessica left, Naruto tried to question Natasha if the whole thing is some kind of trick, but another round of reassurance and Naruto believed that no traps or tricks are involved. The only condition she set was Naruto would tell her what he can about happen during the date, since she knows that he would try to respect Jessica's privacy. Flashback start. Naruto knocked on Jessica's door, still confused about the whole thing, but willing to just ride the waves. He's wearing a striped black and white shirt covered by a black leather jacket, a burnt orange pants, and black slip-on shoes. Natasha joined him going out of the apartment. She's going to the SHIELD New York field office to get a report that she needs to bring back to Washington, D.C. when she returns. Before they separate, Natasha gave him a final encouragement. Naruto briefly considered that he was trapped in an infinite Tsukiyomi before Kurama reminded him that he has the Sharingan, making every illusion useless. Naruto was still contemplating the mess he's been thrown in when Jessica opened the door. She's wearing a dark brown leather jacket and a black scarf over a pepper gray shirt, light gray jeans, and black high-heeled boots. She has her hands in her pockets, head slightly bowed down, and her hair partially covering her face. Naruto could clearly see her insecurities. Her desire to be anywhere away from people. Weirdly enough, her behavior reminds him of how Tsubachan was before she became the Hokage. That thought gave him a great idea and changed the whole date. So, want to get out of here? Naruto asked cheerily. Sure, whatever. Jessica answered disinterestedly before walking out of her apartment and locking it. Naruto extended his hand towards Jessica and motioned for her to grab it. She just stared at it incredulously. What the hell is that? We're not going to do all the couple shit. Ugh. We got no time for this. Naruto mumbled before grabbing her shoulder. This caused Jessica to defend herself. She grabbed Naruto's hand and twisted it. She was going to break his joint, but a feeling of disorientation assaulted her senses, and their surrounding changed. Ow. 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 You can let me go now. He shouted. Jessica released her grip and observed her surroundings. They're on a side road surrounded by trees. It's colder, but not too much compared to New York. She can also hear cars not too far away from them. She looked back at Naruto, who's rotating her arms. Where are we? Jessica asked. Somewhere in northern Moscow. Naruto replied. Russia. What the hell are we doing in Russia? Naruto gave her a stare like she's stupid before answering. For our date, of course. Naruto stepped aside, suddenly revealing Raijin with two helmets on top of it behind him. He walked towards the bike and wore his helmet before tossing the other one towards Jessica, who promptly caught it. Come on, he said energetically while riding the bike. This is a bad idea, Jessica whispered to herself. When huge racing bikes appear out of nowhere, you know something crazy is about to happen. It's not a bad idea if we had fun, Naruto replied to herself, musing. Jessica got on the bike hesitantly, opting not to hold onto Naruto. You should grab onto something. When Jessica didn't answer, Naruto continued. Okay. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. Naruto did one last rev of the bike before quickly shooting off. Jessica had no choice but to loop her arms around Naruto's abdomen, or she would fall off. The pair quickly reached the highway, and Naruto just kept on zooming past the cars until they reached Moscow. The adrenaline surging through her body due to the bike ride caused her to be looser and more eager as they continued. Naruto continued to go through the city until they reached a small bar. Jessica could see that it's at least 50 years old. Naruto parked the bike at the alleyway behind it before motioning for her to get off. They removed their helmets, and Naruto locked both of them on his motorcycle. When we get inside, let me do all the talking first until I tell you can loosen up. Naruto instructed while retrieving something from his jacket pocket. Sure. Sure. 'Cause everybody speaks Russian. Jessica sarcastically replied. Don't worry. I made this for you. Naruto said while showing her a black choker. This thing would make sure you understand everything they say, and they hear everything you say in any language they would understand. Don't question how it works 'cause I'm not gonna say. He explained. Jessica pulled down her scarf before taking the choker. It's a black leather band with silver characters engraved on it. Thank you. Jessica shyly said. You're welcome. Naruto replied. The pair walked towards the front of the bar and entered it. When they got inside, Jessica saw a stereotypical dilapidated bar. Wobbly tables, creaky floorboards, all the shebang. Overall, it's a bar even she won't go to. Naruto approached the bartender. The bartender is a 5 feet 9 inches older man with balding white hair and brown eyes. He's wearing an old brown sweater over a white shirt. Grigovsky. Got any available seats? Naruto asked with a wide smile. Ah. Mr. Vasiliev. Of course, we always have a seat for you. The now named Grigovsky greeted. I see you finally brought a woman, eh? He said while nodding towards Jessica. No. Not like that. We're still getting to know each other. Naruto replied. Can you give me 6 bottles of your strongest drink? Sure thing. Grigovsky answered. He reached under the bar and placed 6 bottles of clear alcohol on the bar. Each of them are only labeled with the name spiritus. Now, be sure not to drink this as it is. Naruto picked up the bottles while passing one of them towards Jessica. He looked back at Grigovsky and placed a roll of rubles on the table. Thanks. I'll see you before leaving. Naruto said before walking behind the bar and going down the trapdoor. Jessica followed Naruto through a series of corridors below the bar in silent contemplation. She knows they are speaking in Russian, but for some reason, she can understand it, even the subtle inflections, and all of it is because of the choker she's wearing. She can't help but open the bottle and taking a swig out of it, but that proved to be a bad idea, because she started coughing after only having a sip. I should have warned you. That's 95% alcohol. Naruto warned, although a little too late. Jessica just gave him a hard glare. They continued down a maze of corridors with Naruto confident in his step until they reached a large metal door. Naruto knocked twice and a peephole opened. A man opened the door and checked them out before closing it again. A moment later, the door opened, revealing a man that is more than likely the twin of the bartender. The difference is he's wearing a suit. Mr. Vasiliev. Welcome back. Are you going to participate or spectate? The man asked. Gregory. Good to be here too. Naruto greeted. I'm just spectating, but this lady here is going to participate. He said while pointing at Jessica. Are you sure? Gregory asked. Oh yeah. She can handle herself. Naruto replied confidently. Very well then. Gregory turned around and walked inside the room. Jessica finally regained her presence of mind and tugged Naruto's arm to get his attention. What did you just sign me up to? Jessica said through gritted teeth. Here's the rundown. This place is a criminal paradise. A lot of the world's most wanted come through here at one point or another, and you're going to fight against every mean asshole in there. All of them are bad guys in every sense of the word. The lowest of the low. Naruto explained. You'll fight them in a no-holds-barred fight. The fight can only stop through surrender or death. Jessica finally figured out Naruto's date plan, and she had to admit she likes it. What are we waiting for? Come on. Jessica shouted as she pulled Naruto down the hallway. Flashback end. The pair came back to New York, already getting along. Natasha can't help but laugh when remembering the story of how Jessica took down Serbian commanders, African warlords, Chinese triads, and other pieces of shit. When Natasha asked about the location of the place was that it's in Moscow. Apparently, he uses it to mine information on the criminal underbelly. A few more outings similar to that, and Naruto was finally comfortable enough to try the whole thing. The first time it happened though has a lot of awkward moments, but as the night went on, it got a whole lot better. Hey! You got a safe house you don't use? Preferably a place only you know? Naruto suddenly asked out of the blue. Why? Natasha asked. She's already used to Naruto's shenanigans, but it's always best to ask him what he's doing since he tends to spiral out of control. I got a surprise for everyone, but it would take 3 to 5 years to prepare. I need an isolated place to prepare. Naruto explained. People tend to have a mini panic attack every time you give a surprise. Natasha deadpanned. Don't worry about this one. Everyone's going to love it. Naruto reassured with that mischievous grin that she loves to hate. Natasha released a deep sigh and walked over to a stack of pen and paper near the phone. She wrote down an address and gave it to Naruto. That's a house outside a medium-sized town in Switzerland. It's far enough from the town that no one accidentally goes to it, but near enough that you can make a day of buying stuff from the town. Natasha explained. Tell me when you're done with it. I still want us to use it. She finished. Thank you, Naruto said while hugging her. He let go of her and picked up his jacket from the couch. I gotta go. Don't wait up for me. I love you. He kissed her before disappearing. Natasha stood in the middle of the kitchen frozen. That's the first time either one of them said the L word, and she doesn't know how to react to it. As weird as it sounds, she never heard it from anyone. Being in a top-secret training facility to produce high-level assassins doesn't precisely foster personal relationships. Her closest confidants are Barton, Coulson, and Fury in that order, and everyone would agree that they would not tell her that. She usually would talk about the new experience to Naruto, but it just won't work for this particular case. She must have been standing there for a long time since Jessica was the one who snapped her out of it. Tasha? Hey! Are you all right? Jessica asked while shaking her gently. He told me he loves me. Natasha whispered. What? He told me he loves me. Natasha said a little louder. Are you telling me you guys pushed forward a threesome before you said the L word to each other? Jessica asked incredulously. Natasha just nodded, still in a daze. You guys are weird. RAF Base Hospital, Alconbury, UK. September 9, 2007, 1500 H local. Naruto arrived in Peggy's room, not realizing what he said to Natasha. The Bijus inside him would have told him what he's done, but they decided to let him work it out himself. Inside the locked room is Peggy and Sharon, who's visibly more relaxed compared to their previous meeting. Flashback start. I need you to die. Sharon quickly reacted and pulled the trigger into Naruto's face. A loud gunshot reverberated in the room. Naruto's head jerked back. Peggy was shocked by the development and about to press the button that would call for help if the gunshot itself doesn't call for the guards. But before she could press the button, he heard a groaning sound coming from Naruto. His head slowly straightened up, revealing an unmarried face. He started moving something from inside his mouth until the Carters finally saw what it was. It's the bullet Sharon shot. Undeformed. You're a step down from Clint's reaction, but still not cool, Naruto said calmly after spitting out the bullet. What are you? Sharon let out, partially recovering from the surprise. Naruto just looks towards Peggy. Is she always this rude? Naruto asked seriously. Anyways, set your affairs in order. I'll come by in 5 months, he instructed before looking back to Sharon. Come or don't come. I don't care, but make sure not to shoot me again. It's such a pain to silence the room that quickly. Peggy and Sharon just nodded, still in a daze about what happened. Sure, S.H.I.E.L.D. handles the weird stuff of the world, but surviving a bullet to the head is on a whole other level. How can S.H.I.E.L.D. deal with a problem like that? It's even worse than the Hulk problem, since you can easily find an 8-feet green monster running around, but someone like Naruto walking around would just be a bitch to deal with. Alright. I'll see you later, Naruto said with a wave. I'll just bring this with me, he said while touching the cube of vibranium. And don't tell Fury about any of this or the deal's off. He finished before him, and the block of vibranium disappeared, leaving a stunned set of Carters in the room. Flashback end. Before we leave, I need you to leave your phone here. Don't worry. You'll get it back. I don't want anyone finding out about your aunt here. Here. Naruto said towards Sharon, who hesitantly left her phone on the bedside table. Naruto then took hold of Sharon and Peggy's hand before disappearing. As soon as they were gone, 2 reinforced Naruto clones showed up in the room and hinged into Peggy and Sharon. Peggy went to bed and laid down while Sharon took the phone and left the room. Chapter 38, Carter's Death. Jiongu, Switzerland. September 9, 2007, 16:30 local. Naruto, Peggy and Sharon appeared inside a living room of a fully furnished home. They can see through the window that the house is built on the side of the mountain, evident by the majestic scenery of white-capped mountain ranges and pine trees. This where you are going to stay for the foreseeable future, Naruto said. Where are we? Peggy asked after she sat down on the sofa. Her frail body can't handle stresses as it used to, especially the dizziness the teleportation caused. We're in a safe house in Switzerland. A friend of mine owns this place, Naruto replied. We got 5 hectares of open mountain terrain we can use to condition your body after the procedure. I think that's more than enough. What exactly am I doing here? Sharon asked. You're the insurance, Naruto answered, but when he saw the questioning look of his audience face, he continued. If Peggy here dies for any reason during this procedure, I want someone to know that she decided to undergo this process under her own volition. I hate Fury to blow a gasket if the whole thing turns sour. Sharon would have liked to berate Naruto for doing something that might kill her aunt, but he was very candid that there's a chance the procedure won't work. He even admitted that he needed a weak test subject for the final part of his experiment. What are you going to do with my aunt? Sharon asked in concern. Now that's something I can't tell you. Only your aunt can know. Think of it as doctor-patient confidentiality, Naruto replied. I just brought you here, so you know where your aunt would be staying. He finished before holding onto Sharon's shoulder and disappearing. RAF Base Hospital, Alconbury, UK. September 9, 2007, 15:45 local. The pair suddenly appeared inside Sharon's car in the parking garage of the hospital, and Naruto handed over her phone. Try not to blurt out anything to Fury. You might trust him, but you can't trust the people around him, Naruto said before disappearing again. Sharon debated to herself about reporting to Fury. She's a loyal S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and not reporting an enhanced man claiming to be the Ninetales who took the first director of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be experimented on is not precisely the definition of loyal. But in the end, she decided just to let it play out, but she's going to try and contact Naruto again to get updates about her aunt. She was going to leave the hospital when she realized something. The RAF hospital is a high-security facility. Everyone needs to sign when going in or out. If she and Naruto appeared inside her car, did Naruto found a way to sign her out? Sharon immediately ran out of the car into the entrance of the hospital. When she got inside, the receptionist immediately took notice of her. Did you leave something behind, Ms. Carter? The receptionist asks. Sharon confirmed that everyone saw her leave the hospital. She has no idea how Naruto did it, but it's certainly a cause for concern. That sent another thought into her head. so she casually lied to get back in. Yeah. I forgot to tell my aunt something, Sharon said while holding up her phone. She went through the whole process of signing her in again before being allowed inside the hospital. They took her signature, a photo, a copy of her ID, and a biometric scan. All of it should be done when she went out too, so how the hell did Naruto fake her bioscan? Sharon paced down the hallway to her Aunt Peggy's room. She went inside without knocking and saw her Aunt Peggy sleeping on the bed. She silently closed the door, drew her gun, and approached the bed. When she's close enough, she aimed the weapon on top of the imposter's head. "Who are you?" Sharon asked dangerously. Her Aunt Peggy slowly morphed into Naruto, and gave her a wink before turning back into her aunt. The thing scared the shit out of her. It's like a scene straight out of a horror movie. Sharon immediately hightailed it out of the room. If Naruto is capable of replacing everyone, who knows what would happen to her if she reports to Fury. Jean, Switzerland. September 9, 2007, 1646 H. Local. Naruto appeared almost as suddenly as he left. Peggy was looking at him with a look of concern in her eyes. "Where's Sharon?" Peggy asked. "I just brought her back to her car," Naruto answered while walking towards the couch. He sat on the opposite of the sofa and pulled out a large whiteboard and marker. "Let me start by laying out the whole thing for you. I'm only going to say what I'm going to do and why I'm going to do it. Do you still accept the conditions?" he asked seriously. "Yes," Peggy answered with confidence, ignoring the sudden appearance of the massive whiteboard. Okay. First of all, I left a decoy in your room that will die 3 months from now. We need you to be entirely out of the picture so we can maximize the surprise during the counteroffensive," Naruto explained while writing it a condensed version on the whiteboard. "Secondly, if Coulson doesn't find Cap in 2 years, I'm going to get him myself." "Why can you just do it now?" Peggy interjected. "Because I'm still fixing some stuff before I can find him, and we need the time for you to condition your body. When the captain is found, we need you to be ready for anything before revealing you to the world," Naruto answered. "Thirdly, we can't continue with the procedure until we strengthen your body for at least a month. I'm going to visit you every day and leave ready-to-eat meals and 3 bottles of nutrient shake that you need to finish every day. When we start the restoration process, your body's going to need a whole lot of nutrients. We need your body to stock up as much as it can," he said while placing a 500 milliliters tumbler. "Fourth, during the restoration, we're going to hook you up to a dialysis machine. Each cell of your body would either rejuvenate or be replaced. Either way, it's going to flood your body with toxins. That's second to the most dangerous part because of the shock of the toxins in your body might cause a systemic collapse of your organs. Second, if systemic organ collapse is bad, what could be worse than that?" Peggy inquired with a raised eyebrow. "Well, that's the last part. While the rejuvenation is happening, we need your soul and body to adapt to it." "My soul? Soul?" "Yes, your soul," Naruto confirmed. "Your soul aged with your body. If it suddenly inhabited a body not suited to it, there are going to be some complications. The solution for that is the most problematic danger we would encounter," he said while drawing a human body. "Every one of us has chakra, the combination of energy from the body and soul. It's stored inside the body as chakra reserves and moves around through a chakra network. Are you with me so far?" Peggy nodded, although she doesn't honestly believe what he's saying. Most people minuscule chakra reserves and atrophied chakra network due to lack of use through dozens or hundreds of generations. It's just enough to keep someone alive. We can't do shit to reverse any of that completely. But what I can do is to make your reserve a tad larger, increase your chakra regeneration, and reinforce your chakra network. That won't be enough to make you do something like this." He created a ball of fire in his hands. "Or this." He now suddenly multiplied into 3. Or any other stuff I could do. But what it would do is controlled bleeding of chakra into your body. That would make you stronger, faster, and more resilient, basically just like Captain Rogers. The downside is that one small mistake on my part could cause your body to explode. Do you get it? Peggy sat there frozen. She started skeptical about the whole chakra argument, but Naruto's demonstration quickly made her a believer. If chakra is indeed real, how did it get lost slowly over time, and is chakra that versatile? I'm just going to assume you got it and continue. Naruto declared. I'm first going to remove your soul temporarily from your body. Peggy immediately became alarmed by what she heard, but Naruto immediately placated her. Don't worry about that part, there's nothing that could go wrong there. Next, I'm going to call upon the King of Hell to store your soul temporarily. Again, don't be alarmed. The King of Hell would then restore your body to its peak form for your age before your soul is returned. That would exponentially increase the chance of everything going well. Now we get to the hard part. Peggy just gave up questioning stuff, and is having a mini existential crisis. If saying that summoning King of Hell is not something to worry about, then nothing means anything and more. I'm going to do a series of techniques that will repeatedly strip away anything problematic. A muscle cell not performing enough? That would be activated. Dying nerve cell? Destroyed and replaced. It would be killing you each cycle since it would be replacing a large number of your cells every time. The process would continue until we reach a physical peak. At the same time, I'm going to make the changes to your chakra system we talked about to help your soul adapt. When it's all said and done, you'll come out of it a little weak but rejuvenated. It should take 2 years for you to adapt and another year for me to teach you stuff. Your old fighting style wouldn't work with your new body. It's like an amateur driver is suddenly placed inside an F1 car. Naruto finally ended his explanation. I have 2 questions if you wouldn't mind answering. Depends on the question. How did you come up with the procedure, and why are you doing this? The real reason. I guess that's fair. Naruto said with a sigh. The procedure is a combination of some things I thought might work. I started testing a lot of stuff for plants. I then moved up to a mouse, a cat, a pig, then a chimpanzee. Don't ask how I got any of those. Then I finally moved up to human test subjects. He could see Peggy's reaction, but he just continued. When I do my mercenary job, I take 1 or 2 guys that wouldn't be missed. Things quickly got messy after that. I have no idea why, but doing chakra enhancements without step-by-step preparation turns humans into a human bomb with each cell individually exploded. Peggy paled, hearing the possible side effect of the procedure. As for the second thing, my girlfriend has her ability to have kids taken from her, and I want to give it back to her. I'm not doing this for me. Even if I know that down the line we will split up, I'll still do it. Peggy thought hard about what Naruto said and started to connect stuff. You're in a relationship with the widow, Peggy stated with confidence. Naruto gave her a full-bellied laugh. Damn. You're really smart. Naruto exclaimed while wiping a tear from his eye. Anyway. Are you ready to start? St. Luke's Church, London, UK. November 28, 2007, 1100 H local. Naruto is leaning on the railings of the choir loft, looking over the whole ceremony, making sure nothing would be missed. He's wearing an all-black suit, partnered black leather shoes, and aviator-style shades. Peggy Carter died 8 days ago, and her will stated that she would like her funeral to happen in this church. The reason he's attending is that Natasha wanted to join the funeral, so he came with her. He had to try hard not to laugh at the whole thing since he knows that Peggy's alive and well. He almost lost it when Sharon started crying while giving her eulogy. Actually, more than well, she's excellent. The procedure went off without a hitch, and she's already able to move around without assistance, unlike the first few days where she would regularly trip over nothing since her mind is still adapting to her body. Aside from that, Naruto can't believe how beautiful she looks. He finally understood why the captain fell head over heels for her. If he didn't genuinely believe that Natasha is more beautiful than Peggy, she might have been mesmerized by her too. Naruto sighed when he thought about what he would need to do in the following weeks. He needs to intercept all the files of Peggy's death certificate to make it easier for her to return to society. The question is how he would do that while maintaining the cover that she's dead. When the funeral ended and Peggy's body was carried out of the church to bring to the cemetery, Natasha looked at him and gestured that she would talk to some people for a while. Naruto just nodded and gestured that he would just wait where he would be there waiting. Naruto didn't stay there alone for long when he heard 3 sets of footsteps from behind him until one by one, the 3 reached the railings. Barton positioned himself on the left, Fury on his right, while Coulson is on the other side of Fury. All of them are wearing black suits except for Fury, who's still wearing his black coat. What the hell, One Eye, you didn't even change into a suit? Naruto said, looking at Fury. Fury's eyebrows started twitching. I'm still wearing black, aren't I? Fury defended. Whatever you say, man. Naruto said dismissively before looking at Barton. How'd you like your bow? You couldn't leave a single note on how to use the thing. I almost destroyed the field before I figured out how to use it. Clint exclaimed while keeping his voice level low. Clint took a month to figure out how to use the bow. Of course, he isn't only studying the bow since he has a family to think about. He almost surrendered in ever using that particular bow again when he cracked it. The power of the bow depends on how far you pull the string back, and how long you hold it. The power raises exponentially, starting from a quarter pull all the way to full draw. The same goes for the draw time. The weakest one would be from 0 to 2 seconds, and the power would rise exponentially from that until max power at 10 seconds. Pulling the bow at quarter length to until 2 seconds would make the bow fire normally, but fully drawing the string at 10 seconds would cause the arrow to have the same force as a javelin missile. All the explosions aren't helping Laura's recovery since it stresses everyone, especially Laura and Cooper. Good thing Naruto left a cooler full of ready-to-eat meals that lasted them for a week and a half. He hated to admit it, but those meals are one of the best things he ever had. Laura is still continuously bugging him to get Naruto to bring more food. Where's the fun in that? Naruto retorted with a wide grin. Oh. Say hello to Lila for me. Say it's from Foxy. Clint's head rapidly turns towards Naruto. His eyes are wide and alarmed. You're fucking Foxy. Clint shouted. You didn't know? Naruto asked before laughing hard. You're telling me Lila never told you? That's gold. He forced out before laughing hard again. In the past 8 months, Laura and Clint have been busier with Copper, which inevitably caused them to lose some time with Lila. Good thing that she started going to school, which took up most of her time. Another peculiar thing that happened though was Lila had a new imaginary friend she calls Foxy. She would play in her room with Foxy for hours. The reason Laura and Clint thought her playmate was imaginary, because they never saw her playmate, and the description of Lila's playmate changes every time. Clint is seriously considering placing cameras with motion detectors all over the house, particularly in Lila's room. Fury interjected before Naruto could blow Clint's gasket. What are you doing here? Fury asked. Natasha wanted to come, so I came with her. A whole lot cheaper than riding a plane. Naruto replied. No plan or business. Fury continued the questioning. Nah. Just pleasure. I wanted to tour London with NAT. I was alone when I first came around here. Naruto answered. Are you any closer to finding the capsicle? He asked Coulson. I'm nowhere close. I just narrowed down the crash site to a 100 kilometers radius, but it landed on an area with a lot of unstable ice that's continuously shifting. Coulson confessed. If you don't find it in 3 years, I'm stepping in. Naruto said. The guys in the ice for too long. Coulson was going to argue, but they heard footsteps coming up the stairs. The trio turned around and saw Alexander Pierce exiting the steps. Nick. What the hell are you doing hanging around here? Pierce asked. And who's the new guy? Naruto turned around, revealing a face similar to Sasuke with blonde hair. The sudden change surprised the trio, but managed to hide it. Good noon, Secretary Pierce. What a pleasure to meet someone like you. I'm Nathan Umber. My father wanted me to pay respect to the woman that saved her life. Naruto smoothly lied with a British accent while extending his hand. Apparently, these guys. He motioned towards the trio. Thought I was some kind of security threat. A pleasure to meet a fan. Pierce replied while shaking Naruto's hands. Would you mind leaving for a while? I need to discuss something with my associate here. National security and all that stuff. You understand? He requested. No problem, sir. Naruto said before looking back at the trio, who's using all their will to stop dropping their jaws. Gentlemen. He greeted before leaving. Pierce waited for Naruto to leave the choir loft altogether before looking back at Fury. I heard you're starting up another search for the captain. What's that all about? Pierce asked. We have a new promising lead that significantly narrows down the area. Fury lied. If that's the case, I want a report on it. Pierce ordered with authority. I'm assuming Coulson is leading the search, so I want Sitwell helping him. That might speed up the whole thing. He finished before walking away, not giving Fury time to veto it. When Pierce was gone, Fury gave Coulson an order. Make sure Sitwell doesn't lay a hand on the captain when you find him. Coulson just gave Fury a nod. What nobody saw was black characters crawling up the hand Pierce used to shake hands with Naruto, until it reached his nape before disappearing. That particular Fuin script is an eavesdropping seal and an Hiroshian seal combined. Chapter 39, Turned into Stone. Fayetteville, North Carolina. January 20, 2008, 1900 H. Local. Fayetteville is a medium-sized city with a population not reaching 200,000. It's considered a military town due to its proximity to the U.S. Army installation, Fort Bragg. Many trainees and soldiers visit the town to unwind or celebrate when they get time offs. The bars are particularly popular with the soldiers as expected. Tonight is no different than any other night. A particular bar near the edges of the city is a favorite of some of the rowdier clientele. It has a good music, good atmosphere, good drinks, and good food. The perfect place to enjoy what little time off a soldier has. Everyone inside the bar is enjoying themselves drinking, singing, dancing, chatting, everyone except one. A lone man sitting on the edge of the bar is drinking his way through a bottle of bourbon. The weird thing though, is that everyone is going out of their way to avoid the man. His name is Eric Stevens. The Lost Prince of Wakanda. He's a 6 feet 0 inches, 24 years old, muscularly built, African-American man with short black hair and black eyes. The man can be described with one word: tenacity. His whole life is based on his father's ideals. The night his father died, he discovered his ancestry. The ancestry of the most powerful civilization to ever exist. Reading his father's journal left an impression on him: the marginalization of his people, the injustices, the slavery, the oppression. He understands everything his father wanted to do. Use the power of Wakanda to change the world order. It's time for Wakanda to rule the world as it should be. Eric planned out his whole life to eventually be the king of Wakanda. He studied hard and fast-tracked himself to college. After he graduated with honors at MIT, he joined the U.S. Navy, until he eventually joined the Navy SEALs, and assigned to the renowned Team 6. Eric had been able to complete 41 missions in the short span of 2 years and racking up 56 kill counts, causing him to earn the fear and respect of his comrades. All his kills are marked into his body using the traditional crocodile scarification. His accomplishments finally led him into being transferred to the Joint Special Operations Command or JSOC a week ago, which is based in Fort Bragg. The reputation he earned caused people to avoid him as much as possible. That's why he's sitting alone and isolated inside the crowded bar. Eric was on his 6th glass of bourbon when a blond man wearing a burnt orange jacket sat next to him, causing the bar to quiet down in surprise. He studied the man for a moment, assessing if he's a threat. The man's posture is relaxed, which is opposite to what Eric's instincts are telling him. There's an underlying aura that could only be observed in war veterans, but the man looks younger than 25. The dichotomy of the man's presence caused Eric to increase his vigilance. The blond man sat there for a while before signaling the bartender. "Shot glass, a bottle of Everclear, and the largest serving of cheesy fries you have. Add as much cheese as you can. Serve everything at once." The man ordered while sliding $200 to the bartender. When the customers heard the man finally order, they slowly regained their energy until everything returned to normal. The bartender quickly fulfilled the order without questioning the man for his drink choices. It's not his job to babysit customers. The man's order was served in under 5 minutes. The large tip he gave must have motivated the staff enough to deliver the order quickly. "Damn. That hits the spot," the man said after taking a bite of fries and taking a swig of Everclear. He then looked towards Eric and slid the fries closer. "You want one?" Eric just grunted in negative. He still can't figure out the man's agenda and is hanging back just to observe him. "You know you should use your words, Lieutenant Stevens." Eric's alert level increased when he heard his name. "You might turn into an emo duck-haired bastard when you just keep on grunting." Eric just kept on eyeing him, not falling for any of the man's provocation. The man just kept on eating and drinking, not paying attention to Eric. There's more to life than killing people and being the best. You won't be able to enjoy life if you keep living the way you are now. The man somehow finished the whole bucket of fries and a bottle of Everclear in the short amount of time he sat there. "Follow me. You're going to want to hear what I'm going to say," the man said before standing up and walking out the front door. Eric debated to himself if he should follow. The man clearly knows who he is and what he does. From everything he gathered from the short meeting, the man may come from the CIA, NSA, Homeland, or any other agency out there. With nothing to lose, he got up his seat and left $50 on the table. He walked out of the door and saw the man walking inside a small park a block away from them. When Eric got inside the park, he saw the man sitting on a bench. He walked over and sat on the opposite side of it. "Before we start, I think it's best if I introduce myself since I know everything about you already. You can call me Naruto. I do not work for any government or organization. I'm just a lone wolf here to extend you an offer," Naruto said while holding a folder in his hands. "Enough with all that bullshit. Just say your piece," Eric urged, nervous when he heard Naruto emphasize the word everything. "I want you to quit the military and work for me. I'll send you to deal with all the worst scumbags in the world and, at the same time, help people held down by the scumbags. You're going to do all these things alone or with me." Naruto laid out his offer. "The only catch is you could only do one mission a month. The mission could last half a day or 1 month, but you could only do one." "Why the hell would I want to do that? I've just been transferred to JSOC. I could do all that shit while in there," Eric retorted, seeing no point in accepting the man's offer. "Well, aside from the generous pay that might go as high as $1 million for each mission." Naruto reached inside his pocket and revealed a single kimoyo bead. "I'll give you one of these things for every 2 missions. That way, you could have a complete working set by 2 years, Prince Jidaka." Eric immediately noticed the Kimoyo bead when he saw it, even though the only one he ever saw was his father's, and that won't work for him since it's already coded to his father's DNA. The name Jidaka though, that's what alarmed him. The only way Naruto could know that name was if he read his father's journal, which is in a safety deposit box. Eric drew a knife from his back and placed it on Naruto's throat. "Who are you? You?" Eric asked in a dangerous tone, but Naruto just remained calm. "I told you, I'm Naruto. Are you deaf or something? Don't play with me, motherfucker. I'm going to fucking slit your throat." Eric threatened, forcing the blade deeper to Naruto's throat. "Don't say it. Just do it," Naruto said with a wide grin. Eric, who's already on edge, pulled back his knife and plunged it to Naruto's brain through his jaw, but to his surprise, the blade bent. He felt a tingling sensation running up his arm, similar to when you hit a metal bat at the pole. "You done yet?" Naruto asked disinterestedly. "I think I introduced myself with the wrong name," he said while fixing his jacket. "My name is really Naruto, but I'm more famous as Ninetales." Naruto saw the same shocked expressions he saw with other people when he reveals his alias. "So, you want to accept the job?" he finally asked while handing over the folder. Eric hesitantly took the folder and opened it. He saw a dossier of a British man. His shock is slowly turning into a justified rage as he reads through it. The fucker is one of the so-called blood diamond warlords. People who are controlling the African diamond trade. These are the people he wanted to target, but can't do inside the military. When Eric got through the folder, he closed it and looked at Naruto. "Give me 1 week to process my exit papers," Eric said with finality. Natasha's Safe House, New York. March 30th, 2008, 1830 local. Naruto has been assigned again to cook dinner. Natasha and Jessica had unanimously agreed to let Naruto cook as much as possible since his cooking is to die for. It's been already a little over 9 months since Jessica joined there with arrangement. A month ago, when the couple finally convinced Jessica to move into the safe house/apartment. The decision was made since Natasha and Naruto are gone half of the time, and Jessica has been staying with them whenever one of them is present. There's just no point for Jessica to live in her apartment if she lives with them half of the time. Jessica relented after Naruto used his puppy dog eyes at full power. The whole thing just added to Jessica's hypothesis that they are one crazy couple. It's one thing to have a threesome arrangement with the two, but another for her to be their roommate. Natasha and Jessica became close friends, almost as much as Natasha is to Laura. They've been able to talk to each other about some personal matters, which was a massive development for Jessica. Another huge accomplishment was they were able to convince Jessica to go back to college in the following semester. Slowly but surely, the couple was able to pull Jessica out of her depression. Natasha and Jessica were chatting on the kitchen island while watching Naruto chopping some greens when they noticed he suddenly stopped mid-chop. "Solms, my son." "Naruto." Natasha called in worry, but Naruto just remained standing still. Natasha and Jessica looked at each other, silently communicating about what they should do next. The pair know that Naruto is not exactly normal. Jessica is reminded of Naruto's power every time Natasha tells censored stories of Naruto's exploits, although she still can't connect the overactive Naruto to a sociopathic killer. The duo walked around the island and slowly approached Naruto from both sides. They were about an arm's reach away from him when he suddenly dropped down to his knees and shouted in pain. Natasha and Jessica took a step back in surprise. This is the first time both of them saw him in any kind of real pain. Natasha saw him take a grenade launcher head-on and be on fire with the hottest flame in existence without even showing an ounce of pain. Jessica, for her part, had punched Naruto full swing a lot of times, usually after a corny prank, and only acted in pain while laughing his hearts out. The pair don't know what to do. Every time they try to get closer to him, a small repulsive force pushes them back. That's when they saw him slowly turning to stone from the ground up. Natasha is practically sobbing at this point. Jessica decided it's more useful to hold on to Natasha, but tears are also streaming down her eyes. Naruto's screams of anguish are just driving the point of how helpless they currently are. When the solidification reached his hips, Naruto pushed down his whimpers and started to do some hand signs slowly. He was able to push his hands towards the ground, and smoke filled the room. Natasha was still whimpering in Jessica's arms when the smoke finally cleared. The first thing they saw was a solidified Naruto on his palms pressed on the floor. The next thing they saw are 9 1-foot-tall creatures surrounding Naruto. Each of them is different from each other. In a clockwise direction starting from Naruto's back, a brown raccoon with blue marks running around its body, a two-tailed cat made of blue flames with black marks running around its body, a three-tailed spiked turtle with a gray carapace and one eye, a four-tentacled ape with green skin and red fur, a five-tailed white horse with the head of a dolphin, a six-tailed slug, a six-winged blue and green beetle with a green tail, a brown minotaur with its lower body turned into an octopus, and finally an orange fox with 9 tails. That's when Natasha remembered one of Naruto's stories about the 9 creatures of pure chakra that can destroy the world. Each of them is placed inside a human to be a weapon. She recognized Kurama, the 9-tailed fox, as the monster sealed inside him, but what are the other Bijou doing here? The other Bijou should be left behind in the elemental nations, but it looks like Naruto brought them with him. Stupid kit, Kurama said in a whisper. Go to the mates, Kurama. We're going to try and stabilize the nature chakra. The Minotaur Octopus hybrid said. Kurama nodded to Gyuki's suggestion and walked over to the girls. Follow me, Kurama said to Natasha and Jessica before walking towards the sofa set and sitting on top of the center table. Jessica, being the one more composed of the two, led Natasha towards the living room. She also recognized the fox as Kurama in Naruto's stories. There's nothing else they could do, so why not follow the all-powerful demon fox? Sit down, Kurama ordered. Natasha and Jessica sat down on the sofa in front of him. Both of them still red-eyed from their crying, especially Natasha, but she finally calmed a little. Here's the thing. Naruto did something stupid as you might expect, but he would be fine. Don't worry. How could I not worry? He turned into a fucking stone, Natasha exclaimed, finally releasing some of her built-up tension. That's nothing. If he were still mortal, that would be a problem, Kurama offhandedly announced, not realizing what he said. A ball of sand suddenly hit the back of his head, and he turned around. What the hell, Shikaku? You're not supposed to tell them about that, dumb fox. The brown raccoon, now named Shikaku, said. Kurama suddenly has a deer caught in the headlight look and looked back at the two girls. Can you just forget about what I said? Kurama weakly requested. Natasha finally realized Naruto's big secret, why it feels like sometimes Naruto pulls back in the relationship. At first, she thought it was because of his insecurities as a child, but now the truth is revealed. How is he immortal? Natasha asked in a dangerous whisper. The Minotaur Octopus hybrid decided to take over the conversation before Kurama can somehow screw it up more. Hello. I'm Gyuki, the 8-tailed ox. I think I'm better suited to answer that question, Gyuki said. Naruto's immortality is a complicated situation that occurred due to multiple unlikely events coming together, but a simple phrase can explain it: he became immortal when he became a god. He dropped the bomb without any preamble. Natasha and Jessica's mind froze hearing Gyuki's explanation. Goofy, but sociopathic Naruto is a god? Your definition of a god is a little different than ours. With our definition, we are basically gods ourselves, Kurama explained, seeing the gears running through the ladies' minds. Natasha slightly calmed down enough after hearing Kurama's explanation, and was able to focus on something more urgent. What happened to him? Natasha asked. When he first traveled the world, we noticed that the natural chakra pathways running across the planet were a little constipated. Without the nature chakra flowing freely across the earth, one of Naruto's abilities was sealed. His ability to control nature chakra allowed him to sense everyone in the world if he likes, and that's just one of its benefits. He also can't summon us without fixing the world's chakra network without causing a disaster, since the moment he summons us, we would connect to the chakra network. Yuki explained. So he finally fixed it since he summoned you guys, but why did he turn into stone? Jessica asked. Pure nature chakra would cause any human to turn into stone. That's why he was pushing you two away. Kurama explained, finally answering the question of why they can't get close to him. He continuously pumped his chakra into the world to start its motion. When he succeeded in letting nature chakra flow through the world freely, a burst of nature chakra flowed out of the hot zones where Naruto's clones are facilitating the flow. Without any intervention, it would cause disaster in those areas. That's why his clones decided to absorb all of it into their body. The problem occurred when one by one, clones filled with nature chakra popped, sending it directly to Naruto, who's unprepared with the sudden assault of foreign chakra. We tried to combat it with pushing demonic chakra or Yuki to his body, but that might cause significant harm to you too. That's why Naruto just decided to take the nature chakra. Kurama finished. He summoned us to make sure we can manage to release him from the nature chakra's effects faster, and to have someone explain the events to you. Yuki added. Natasha tried to file away all the information the two Bijus told her, but the number of stresses assaulting her mind right now is just too much to organize. Jessica saw Natasha slowly getting overwhelmed by the situation again, and she decided to take over. When will he get out of that? Jessica asked while pointing at Naruto. A day at most. Tomorrow morning the earliest. Yuki answered. All right. Thank you. I'll just take Nat to the room. We probably can't eat after all this. Jessica replied before standing up and leading Natasha to the bedroom. Of course. We'll handle cleaning up the mess here. Have a good night. Yuki said before Jessica could close the door. Kamartaj, Kathmandu, Nepal. March 31, 2008, 0500H local. The Ancient One was watching over the morning practices when a wave of energy washed over the world. It was so powerful that even the apprentices took notice. Mordo immediately ran over to her side with worry in his eyes. His unbending beliefs about sorcery are now slightly tempered. The Ancient One's decision to let him read her journals and make him understand that rules are sometimes meant to be broken was enough to prevent Mordo's desertion in the future. Master, what should we do? Mordo asked the Ancient One. The Ancient One remained silent, trying to think about what could cause the surge of power. It took her honing her senses and focusing down on the earth before she identified what happened. The earth's chakra network is restored. The Ancient One stated. How? I thought Sorcerer Supreme Agamotto had invariably closed off the network when he created the eye. Mordo asked. When Agamotto forged his ultimate weapon to battle Dormammu, he had to utilize all of the power of the world to create a vessel that could control an Infinity Stone. He was, of course, successful, but it caused the Earth's chakra to deplete, causing it to stagnate. The fox healed the world. The Ancient One said with certainty. There's no being strong enough that could kickstart the world's chakra circulation. We need to find him before the new year. Some things need to remain the same. She said with urgency. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfictions. Looking forward to having you on board again.